Hey guys, and welcome back to the Fame or Flame game show. Last time, we put some potato MvM mission makers to the ultimate test, forcing them to guess maps from my artistically challenging screenshots. But this time, we're turning the chaos up. We're getting in the game. I was thinking about a speedrun competition, but let's be real, a normal speedrun, a bit predictable. So here's the twist that changes everything. In this speedrun competition, the participants do not build their own loadout. Their opponents do. That's right, each team gets to create the class loadouts for the other team. Their sole mission in this competition is one of beautiful sabotage, to create the most difficult, non-conventional, and non-meta loadouts imaginable. Then, the participants have to take the cursed loadout their rivals have built for them and try to get the best time out of 5 runs on a Valve mission. Now, let me show you a quick and simplified rundown of the sequence of events for this game show. This isn't just a test of skill, it's the ultimate test of adaptability and strategy. Who can win with the worst loadouts imaginable? Let the mind games and the flaming begin. For this game show, I invited players from the Potato MvM community. Some are mission makers, event judges, and basically, all of them are MvM enjoyers. After agreeing to this madness, the participants completed a poll regarding their speedrun experience. Based on these results, they were then separated into 2 teams. Now, let's introduce you to the participants of this game show. On the left side, we have Team SteamSad with Sealpit as the team leader. The other players of the team consists of Lobotomy, Package, Cat, Mentrillum, and Damno. On the right side, we have Team SteamHappy with Orange Glazer as the team leader. The other players of the team consist of Flurberry, Skyla, Wizard II, Stardust Spy, Lemony, and Artie. Why does Team SteamHappy have 7 members? We will explain in a later segment. Most of these players are either judges or mission makers from the Potato MvM community. Now let's interview each team leader and learn more about their team. What is your team name?
Our team name is SteamSad because that's what our opposition is going to be at the end of this game.
We are Team SteamHappy.
How is your team composed?
Alright, well, Kat is our resident speedrun expert, and I know he's been involved in various amazing feats, such as low-manning some of the hardest Valve missions. And similarly, Damno also has experience in low-manning, on top of being a great gamer overall. Package is a generally great player as well. He's been making missions for a long time, and has helped beat some of the most stupidly hard custom missions I've ever seen. Mentrillum has a very analytical outlook, and Lobotomy has second-hand experience with speedrunning alongside more experienced runners. Both of them are relatively new mission makers, but I don't think that hampers their skill at all. And I have a little bit of second-hand experience as well with speedrunning, usually in smaller speedruns with some of my Steam friends, and I consider myself very knowledgeable about the intricacies of MvM, and I'm hoping I can use all of these factors combined to our team's advantage during this challenge.
We've got a good arrangement of MvM players. Some are mission makers and some like me who are mission judges who also happen to speedrun. I believe me, Skyla, and Flurberry have speedrun quite a bit, and our mission makers know how missions are constructed, so I don't think it'll be too difficult to teach them anything that they don't know already.
What are you most looking forward to for this challenge?
Probably what loadouts the other team picked for us, and how we'll use those to solve the waves for an optimal time.
I'm looking forward to seeing a challenge. Normally, during speedruns you're using weapons you're comfortable with, but letting them choose our loadouts for us means we have to adapt and make it work for us. So, should be pretty fun.
Fantastic answers from both team leaders. Good luck to both teams. Now let's get into the details of the game show. I know what you're thinking. This is going to be a complete mess. And you're right, but even in chaos, there has to be some strategy. I understand that there are extremely dog water weapons in MvM. We're talking the classic, gunslinger, the babyface blaster, the list goes on. The potential for pure, unplayable sabotage is just too high. That's exactly why I gave the teams a chance to protect themselves. Before the loadout sabotage begins, we have the weapon ban phase. Here's how it works. Each team will ban 3 weapons. That brings us to a total of 6 weapons banned from the entire event. And this is the most important part. When a weapon is banned, it's banned for everyone. So neither team can use that banned weapon during loadout selection for the other team. Let me give you an example. Let's say Team A bans the Caber. That means when Team B constructs a loadout for Team A's Demo Man, they cannot pick the Caber, but they can still force him to use the Persian Persuader, the Eyelander, or any other Demo Man's sword or melee weapon. It's a safety net against the very worst options. The banning itself is a strategic back and forth. It is done in turns. Team 1 will make the first ban. Team 2 will follow with the second ban. We go back and forth like this until all 6 weapons are off the table. This is where the first layer of mind games begin. Do you ban weapons that are objectively terrible, or do you ban the weapons you personally can't stand playing with? Their choices here will set the stage for the entire sabotage phase. After thoughtful discussions within the members of both teams, these ended up to be the weapon bans. So the bans were: Team SteamSad banned the Rocket Jumper. Secondly, Team SteamHappy banned the Sticky Jumper, then the Classic as the third ban. Subsequently, the Force of Nature as the fourth ban. Then, the Direct Hit. Last of all, the Baby Faces Blaster. After the weapon ban phase, we revealed the map and mission to both teams. They will be speedrunning the mission Bone Shaker on the map Big Rock. Now that 6 weapons are off the table, we move to the next critical phase: class bans and loadout selection. Here's how it works. Each team will now ban 3 classes that their opponents cannot use. This isn't random, it's strategic. We'll be talking to the team leaders after the bans to understand their reasoning. These choices give us a direct insight into their game plan and what they fear most from the other side. If you're familiar with speedrunning in MvM, one class is guaranteed to be banned by both teams right out of the gate: the engineer. The reason is simple. In a conventional speedrun, the engineer is invaluable. The teleporter alone shaves critical seconds off a run by getting the team to the front lines instantly. But the real game changer is the two-way teleporter upgrade. It creates a relentless, unstoppable momentum, allowing the team to zip back to spawn, refill on overpowered canteens, and then instantly return to the fight to spam them non-stop. Without it, the conventional strategy completely falls apart. Players are locked into their designated classes, so they can't just switch to another class to get back to spawn immediately after a wave ends. Their only options are a long, momentum-killing walk back to base, or a desperate time-costing measure, using their killbind. That's right, without an engineer, a team might literally have to kill themselves just to get back to spawn. A huge strategic penalty that wastes precious seconds on a respawn timer. On top of that, let's not forget the dispenser. Without that steady supply of ammo, key classes are forced to scavenge for ammo boxes on the map, or get ammo canteens instead of crit canteens for maximum damage. This is a massive drain on their resources and momentum. By removing the engineer, you aren't just taking away a teleporter, you're dismantling the enemy's mobility, their ammo supply, and their canteen economy, forcing them to play a completely different and much slower game. Once the bans are locked in, the next devious phase begins: loadout selection, where you don't gear up your own team, you gear up your opponents. And before I forget to mention, the teams can only select one of each class, no duplicates. It's time to build your rival's nightmare. During the sabotage phase, both teams had a gentleman's agreement about one class in particular, the Demo Man. They agreed that no matter how devious the loadouts got, the Demo Man must be given at least one usable ranged weapon, and most importantly, must not be forced on the Persian Persuader. Imagine the perfect storm of suffering. Your team already has no engineer, meaning no teleporter and no dispenser for ammo. Now you're the Demo Man with the Persian Persuader, a weapon that slashes your max ammo for grenades and stickies by a crippling 80%. You are now a melee class with no reliable ammo, in a mode about killing hordes of robots. Without an engineer to supply you, you'll be spending most of the run looking for ammo boxes instead of dealing damage. It wouldn't just be a disadvantage, it would be downright unplayable. This agreement ensured that the competition stayed focused on skill and creative strategy rather than who was burdened with the most dysfunctional loadout. Which 3 classes did your team choose to ban?
We chose to ban Scout,
Medic, and Engineer.
We banned Engie, Medic, and Spy.
Why did you select those bans?
We chose to ban Engineer for, well, obvious reasons. Sentry guns have tremendous damage potential, dispensers provide ammunition for everyone, and teleporters enable people to use two ways to go directly from the front back to spawn to refill on things like canteens, upgrades mid-wave, etc., which would all speed up their run to such an absurd degree that not having an engineer is very detrimental. Medic was another very obvious pick, the ability to nullify a lot of threats with projectile shield and any kind of supercharge, as well as canteen sharing, which is the big one. Having longer canteen effects for cheaper, therefore more canteens available, is absolutely insane, and is one of the main reasons that you see Medic in quite a lot of successful speedrun attempts. We had to deliberate for a little bit on the final ban, but Scout was our final pick over something like Spy, because we figured that, well, Scout is easy money collection, and disabling that for the entire team would mean the other team will have to collect money with their other classes, putting them in more danger, as well as Scout's general tank DPS. And we saw that the other team tried to prevent us from picking two of Scout's worst primaries, so we figured that would nullify some of their choices a little bit.
We banned Engineer because he's a pretty big part of making sure his team gets ammo, healing, and can teleport to the front instantly. We banned Medic because being able to revive teammates is really powerful, especially on a large map like Big Rock. Lastly, we banned Spy, which may seem like an odd choice to some considering Heavy can dish out easy damage, but with the mission and loadouts in mind, Spy can be pretty good to deal with Uber Medics, Giants, and the boss on the last wave, which takes extra melee damage.
What loadouts did you select for the other team?
For Soldier, we picked the Liberty Launcher, the Mantrats, and the Pain Train. More damage from bullets, less damage on your primary, and no utility from your secondary. For Pyro, we picked the Degreaser, Man-Melter, and Homewrecker. These aren't bad options, but they don't do anything amazing either, just worse than the alternatives. For Demo Man, we picked the Lock and Load, Tide Turner, and Eyelander. No rollers, less splash, less starting health, barely any resists, and no easy crits on charge. Yeah, Demo's going to have it rough. But who knows, maybe Demo Knight TF2 will get to do something cool? For Heavy, we picked the Huolong Heater, the Buffalo Steak Sandwich, and the Stock Fists. Ammo management is a huge deal, and the Heater puts the heat on Heavy to keep scrounging for kits, which is less time spent shooting bots. For Sniper, we picked the Huntsman, the SMG, and the Tribal Man's Sheath. No explosive headshot, no utility from your secondary, and a bad melee that does less than 8 seconds of bleed on hit. Finally, for Spy, we picked the Ambassador, the Stock Sapper, the Spicicle, and the Invis Watch. The Spicicle may inconveniently melt in flames, and without the Dead Ringer, Spy's life will be in far more danger. Also, the Ambassador is the worst tank busting option. I know, tank busting on Spy, very important. But we're not going to be making it easy.
For Scout, we gave him the Scattergun, Pistol, and Bat. Soldier, we gave the Liberty Launcher, Reserve Shooter, and the Havzatochi. Pyro, we gave the Flamethrower, Shotgun, and the Fire Axe. Demo Man, we gave the Lock and Load, the Charge and Charge, and the Scottish Handshake. Heavy, we gave the Huolong Heater, the Buffalo Steak Sandwich, and the Holiday Punch. And Sniper, we gave the Huntsman, the Darwin's Danger Shield, and the Tribal Man's Shiv. We mostly wanted to give them weapons that would give them a bit of struggle without the ammo or healing a normal team would have, but not completely giving them an unusable loadout for classes like Demo, where you can really just strip them down to a melee weapon if you really wanted to.
Any final words for the opposing team?
Good luck, and sorry for banning Scout.
Good luck, and may the best team win.
The two teams performed their speedruns on separate days. On the day of their run, the opposing team's chosen loadouts were finally revealed. From that moment, the clock started ticking. Each team had a maximum of 30 minutes to unpack their assigned classes and weapons, decide who plays what, and formulate a brand new strategy from scratch before their 5 allotted attempts began. Let's see what both teams are feeling after receiving the loadouts for the speedrun competition. What's the general team consensus on the loadouts that the other team has selected for you?
So in terms of team consensus, I think we're all quite alright with the loadouts that were picked. None of them are particularly bad, and I think we'll be able to make good use of them.
Looking at the loadouts that the opposing team gave us, We think they had a very similar idea in stripping us of our healing and ammo, but instead of banning Spy like we did, they banned Scout. I think we'll be able to manage, and I believe letting Spy play will be a mistake for them.
What's your game plan? Could you share some insights into the strategies your team will use?
In terms of strategies, I think we'll be using quite a few ammo canteens and critical hit canteens, as well as dogpiling a lot of people on tanks in order to destroy them as fast as possible. We don't have any perfect tank busters, but with combined DPS, I think we should be able to kill them fairly quickly.
Our team is looking to use ammo canteens to make up for not having an engineer, and we're also looking to use high DPS classes to handle the brunt of a wave while we let other classes upgrade. Then we also just plan to killbind to avoid walking back and forth to the upgrade station. With all the money that these waves give us, we're pretty confident that we're gonna be able to make these restricted loadouts work. Right now we have me, Orange Glazer, playing Spy. We have Skyla playing Soldier. We have Flurberry playing Pyro. We have Lemony playing Heavy. We have Stardust Spy playing Sniper. And we have Artie playing Demo. And we have Wizardy playing Demo.
How confident is your team right now? How much time do you think you'll beat the other team by?
I think we're quite confident. Overall, everyone seems to be in a good mood. So, even then, I think we might be able to beat the other team by about a minute. Bone Shaker is relatively slow, and some waves will just remain slow, so I think it will really come down to the wire.
We're feeling pretty confident right now, but it's hard to say how much we'll beat the other team by. Could beat them by 15 seconds or over a whole minute. It's really hard to tell.
Thank you again to the team leaders for their thoughtful answers. You're about to see the players at their best, adapting under pressure. Because of time constraints, we combined perspectives into highlights. First featuring Team SteamSad's top run, then Team SteamHappy's.
FDM now.
Those were really great attempts from both teams, given the terrible ping differences and the non-conventional loadouts they were forced upon. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were a lot of mishaps and funny moments in the other attempts.
Wait. What the hell? Get up. I'm burning! I don't think I saw that one coming.
This is the end.
I feel alive!
No, why are your pants on fire?
And if you think you're better than me, you're another.
Give him a gobful! Get on then, mate! Scored, save the Queen! Let's have...
Help! I'm locked in with a killer! Ah! Help! Help! Ah! 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 Help!
Well, this was a disappointment.
And there comes a giant fish!
They tell on you, then you have to go to jail.
No, please, don't tell.
Oh, now that you mention it.
No, just, I won't do it again, But stand still, I'm gonna do it again.
Like you cut, G.
Both teams performed impressively with the loadouts they were given. However, one team managed to pull clearly ahead with a standout performance. Team SteamSad hit their stride with their fourth attempt, clocking in at 21 minutes and 51 seconds. Team SteamHappy delivered their best attempt on their third run, taking 24 minutes and 40 seconds. One possible factor behind the result was the difference in class composition. Team SteamSad had a scout whose ability to quickly collect money, deal consistent close to mid-range damage, and contribute against destroying the tank gave them a strong edge. Meanwhile, Team SteamHappy had a spy, but without access to the Dead Ringer, the spy was forced to rely on the Invis Watch, and this significantly limited survivability and overall impact to the team. On top of that, backstabbing was often difficult since bots tended to face towards the rocks, making positioning awkward and reducing the spy's effectiveness. Ultimately, these differences in team roles proved decisive, shaping the pace and efficiency of each run. With their unconventional composition working in their favor, Team SteamSad secured the advantage and claimed victory in this MvM Speedrun Competition. Huge congratulations to them! This was a lot of fun to organize and host. Thank you to the participants for playing in this game show. Even though this is hugely different to a regular MvM speedrun, I hope they still had fun in this friendly competition. Sorry this video took so long to release, but I hope it was worth the wait. Thank you everyone, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.